Masai Ujiri did not hold back at his season-ending press conference as he had a lot to say about the current Toronto Raptors culture, even after a losing season, about the acquisition of Brandon Ingram and how it sped up the rebuild, which gives us some insights on what we can expect for this team in the offseason, and most importantly, how Scottie Barnes has managed as the team's top guy's first full season running this Toronto Raptors group, and how the front office feels about how this year went. Because frankly, that feels like one of the most polarizing discussions, at least in our comment section down below. So lots of stuff to break down in this video. But before we dive into that, folks, again, we've been looking at this number for a while, 37,300. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button if you don't want to miss a single thing about this Toronto Raptors team entering the offseason. Of course, the games are over, but we're approaching a very important offseason in Toronto Raptors history as this team looks to make the jump, and clearly from Masai Ujiri's comments yesterday, looking to make the jump from a rebuilding team back into an upswing team, a team that isn't trying to lose, isn't trying to capture any flags or take any L's. Of course, we're still on that mission until the NBA lottery hits, but let's dive into what Masai Ujiri had to say, as basically he came out and discussed the season, saying, just the passion, honestly, from the team. Generally, I think the organization, we see some changes coming in regards to the team being better, but the reactions, I think everybody has been incredible from top to bottom. I'm appreciative of this opportunity to rebuild this team and try to go and get better, go somewhere towards our goal, which is getting better and adding more players to building this team and growing to be a championship team. A championship is the end goal to all of this, and identify those kinds of players and build with those kinds of players. And we hope that the young players we have will continue to grow after last season. So essentially, he's communicated. We're trying to be on the upswing. We have a lot of guys out there in this group that are currently developing, and he was pressed, in regards to the current state of the rebuild, because of course we don't have the best odds for top selection, the 7th best odds. But of course, during the midway through this year, the team ended up acquiring Brandon Ingram via trade, and that definitely moved the timeline a bit further than what it looked like entering last year. And he kind of addressed those types of comments there in the discussion as well, saying that now at the end of the day, we have to find talent on this team. We have to look at maybe expediting this, and they are talking about Brandon Ingram trade, and the young players are still young, very talented, and he fits. We hope he fits. He hasn't played yet, but we hope he fits the kind of mode and how we play and what we need to do on this team. And we feel at the end of the day, you have to acquire talent, and we have to do it in a unique way. In a market that we're in, we have to jump on opportunities as they come in our way. So sometimes we really study them. We feel this was a unique opportunity for us, and it fits. It didn't stop our rebuild. It didn't mess that up, so we'll continue down that path. So what Masai Ujiri is essentially alluding to, what he's discussing here, is the team had a golden opportunity acquiring Brandon Ingram. It's something that would have been difficult to execute at any other point. At talent, the level of Brandon Ingram, who averaged 22, 5, and 5 last season, and even though he's clearly a win-now player because he's a guy in the prime of his career, that's a bucket getter, that's an impact guy, but he didn't play the back half of the season. It didn't affect the ability to get a lower standing out there in the NBA, and now coming into next year, the team just wants talent, wants players, and the young guys are still young, very happy with the development. It didn't affect anything, didn't stunt any growth, adding Brandon Ingram in there to the mix. So Masai's very still happy with that acquisition, feeling good about how that will be integrated, but that's not just that. Specifically, he said, his personality, he's such a great kid. He's an incredible worker. I feel that him sitting on the bench showed that he learned a lot about the team and the personality of our team, how we play. To be honest, I met Brandon Ingram yesterday. I met with Brandon Ingram yesterday. Of course, they've met before, and had long meetings throughout the season. And I think this is something that is also on his mind to elevate his game and to adjust to what we're doing. I don't think it's going to be a problem. I think there will be an adjustment, but in terms of Brandon, I don't think there's going to be any problem him with fitting in with us. And that's really good because, of course, there's lots of discussions, lots of things being said with arguably your most talented player, I guess, is Scottie Barnes is that guy until Brandon Ingram has also been an all-star too, so there could be some debates there. But Brandon Ingram, from his quotes that we discussed on a video a couple days ago, he's fully bought in. Masai Ujiri's had discussions with him. He has no worries about Brandon Ingram being integrated into the system. And the reason why, if you're not familiar with Brandon Ingram's game, there's been some concerns about that is because Darko has been building for the past couple seasons a very pass-heavy, free-flowing, fluid offense. And Brandon Ingram is a guy that can be regarded as a little bit of a ball stopper at times. That's his reputation casually across the league. Now, he's a very underrated passer, averaging 5 assists per game, having the ball in his hands out there with the Pelicans. He has been able to do those types of things out there on the basketball court, but of course, he's still number one priority, number one focus is getting buckets. And there's concerns, no, he's going to be a ball hog guy. He's not like Scottie, who passes as a, facilitator. Even RJ's improved in those aspects. But Brandon Ingram's bought in, Masai Ujiri's bought in. They've been having communication. And from everything Masai Ujiri's seen, he is very, very happy with this. So, not holding back in terms of stating this is going to work. This is going to be a positive thing. So shutting down concerns there, out there in Masai Ujiri's comments. And then also on the tanking front. So he was asked about how tough it is, to tank away a season, to less direct wordage of that. But he said, yes, it's tough. We're always going to build from within. I think you sit here and challenge the kind of things with the players that we have. We hadn't done so well, and it was a big challenge for us to get those guys right after last year. You have to keep building them and building a winning team and winning habits. Build on our team. And I think sometimes it's a little bit overrated, losing to such extreme extent. So the context of this, essentially, Masai Ujiri was asked about teams like the Wizards, the Sixers, the Nets that really just completely nuked the lineups they were running over the past 2 months of the season and then allowed them to go on very extreme losing streaks. And Masai Ujiri's just like, hey, that's, even though you get better draft odds, it's a little overrated because of how it affects the culture, how it affects your team. And in previous seasons, especially not this season, the season prior, the back half of that year was ugly. It was bad. It was ugly. They couldn't find a lot of talent to go in the back half of the roster, and it was bad stretch. And we didn't even have our draft pick. So that's a reality. I think Masai Ujiri didn't want to completely, tear the floor out from this roster. So it's just the abysmal basketball we saw on the court from these other teams, but that's just how it goes, right? And it's overrated how effective nuking your roster is because of those other impacts. And he also said this, and honestly, wherever we fall in the NBA draft, we feel very confident in our guys, specifically the scouts. I've done a lot of work all year. We are extremely excited. It's a good draft. In this draft, wherever we fall, we're going to be good for. We're going to be going for the best talent available. I know the answer. That's the answer everyone gives, and it's a unique draft. And we feel that we will have a talented player available, and we tried to get one that fits our ball club. Yes, we do need another young big. We would definitely look into that, but we're not really focused on that, to be honest. There are a lot of talented kids. So we've heard this for years now at this point. Big topic of discussion last year when, the tank in 2024 was a big topic of discussion. Bring up because I didn't make a 2025 one. The tank 2024, it's like, hey, do we keep our draft pick? Because we would have lost it this year if we ended up keeping the draft pick in that season. So that was a huge sort of piece of discourse, and everyone said, hey, the 2025 NBA draft is way better than any of the other ones. So Masai Ujiri is continuing that sentiment that hasn't changed despite, a guy like Malawach struggling out there in the championship game or the Duke's final game. I don't think it was the championship, but things like that. So Masai Ujiri still very high, still very bullish on this draft class. So that's a good thing to see. And then he also discussed, in terms of Scottie Barnes. So or in terms of ownership right now. Sorry, we're jumping ahead. We're doing different stuff because team culture is a big thing, especially with the new ownership with Rodgers really taking over. With how the Jays have been managed, there were some concerns about that, but Masai seemed to be very positive out there on that front, saying, I don't see anything that's changed in regards to ownership. I think it's unique. It's a unique that people kind of see it as new, but it's almost the same, being that Edward Rodgers and Tony, all these guys have been here for many years, and as long as I've been here, no relationships have been changed. Everything has been normal. I think having a unique CEO like Keith, it really takes on leadership. It really communicates with all of the team and sees the growth in all of the teams. I think, though it's different in some kind of ways, it's what you want. I mean, the organization, I've had the same relationships with all these people. Keith, it was new, but honestly, it's been great. It's been the same relationship in the same way, the same communication, which I'm happy about. So lots of stuff made about new ownership group. Masai Ujiri on his way out. What's going on? That seemed to have been shut down in Masai Ujiri's final season press conference. And that trickles down into the last sort of point we're going to be talking about is really in terms of culture, in terms of how this culture is looking for this Raptors organization. He said, yes, it's A+. I now am not even going to give anybody any other room. Yeah, we'll look at these guys, see what they've done, and see the leader in Scottie Barnes and how he plays. I think RJ plays different from how he played in New York. This is his team's focus. While working on our offense, I think our offense will get better as we grow. We have that focus on playing together. So see the culture of our players even off the court. I never want to reference this, but our team has a great resemblance to the bench mob era we had in the past. I'm not even talking about play. I'm just talking about the camaraderie that they had and how they are together. These guys, they do it for themselves. I'm proud for that. I'm proud of Darko for setting that up and Bobby for setting that up. So lots of praise, lots of positives thrown on Scottie Barnes' leadership, on Darko Rajakovic's leadership, on how things have really come together for this Raptors organization. He did not hold back on praise. He did not hold back in regards to, how this team is building, how things are coming together for this Raptors organization. And frankly, that's, I like that Masai Ujiri's plan is getting put together. Of course, next season it's going to be crucial to see, things fall into place in the actual win column, but with how messy this situation was a couple seasons ago before Darko Rajaković, just the bad vibes out there in the locker room, it's nice that those things have been fixed. We've restocked our young core, and now we can really push to get some W's. So he said a lot of things. He also brought up a lot of stuff regarding, more stuff on Scottie, more stuff on RJ Barrett's future contract extension, things on Ulrich Shamshay. So it's like a 30-minute, 40-minute presser. So we'll discuss all of that out there in future videos and stuff. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe button because there's a lot of stuff going on with this Toronto Raptors team. Anyways, you guys are the best. Hit that subscribe button. I'm signing out.